I think that you just have to be aware of what's happening in your life. You got to watch for the little signals that say that you're going down, and then you got to take action. I spent a very terrible time in junior high. I was feigning limping as a way to avoid going to school, and I didn't wash my hair. And that was my first depression, and it felt like drowning. But of course, everybody else was breathing around me. But all of a sudden, I had a mini recovery in high school. I started getting all sorts of academic honors and accolades and thespian jaunts and synchronized swimming, and I got a lot of cool boyfriends. So I snapped out of that. It wasn't until I was in my 30s that I was diagnosed. I'd gotten an MBA, and I had had a couple of real high-profile, high-stress jobs, and something was awry. I knew something was the matter. I quit a job before I got canned, and then I'd start another job, and then that would go awry again. And so I finally sought help from a therapist. And after several months, she said, "Does any mental illness run in your family?" I said, "I don't know. I'll have to ask my father." So I did, and he let me know there were 3 generations of bipolar in my family. So it was in the genes. And then my youngest daughter has become the 4th member of bipolar. So it was kind of the way it was. That's what happened to me. And it just took I think it's a tough diagnosis to come by. The current term is bipolar, but I think manic depressive is far more applicable, because mania, you have racing thoughts and you're way out like a little kite, way out here, and you're outside of reality. And then on the other hand, you have depression where you feel really low. I never was truly suicidal, but I could see how people would go there. I went to the therapist and I saw a psychiatrist, and I was on lithium for a year. And then I thought, I'm cured. I'm okay now. So I went off the lithium and I got married and I started a family. And somehow the baby-making hormones tend to mitigate the disorder. So I was off medication for many, between age 30 and 50, although certainly during that period of time I was hypomanic. My mother was manic depressive, and she was ill her entire life. But in those days, I think lithium didn't come in until the 70s. And so she just kept getting thrown into the hospital, and she'd make little clay ashtrays and come back, and they'd put her on heavy tranquilizers. And so I felt that she never really was there for me. And then I find out I have the affliction myself. My father was a big supporter. He always was. He was always there for me. And I vowed to myself that even though I had bipolar or manic depression, I would never do that to my kids the way that she had done it to me. So I worked very hard in psychotherapy for 35 years to try to be a good mother. And I think it took pretty well. Finally, after hiring and firing many different psychiatrists, I found a really good one who works in the hospital 3 days a week. So she's really good at evaluating and diagnosing and medication strategies. And I told her, I said, once I found her, she put me on a wonderful mood elixir that allowed me to retain my creativity but kept me from the mania, and brought my cognitive function back. At one point, I had lost my self-esteem, my cognitive function, and my driver's license. And that was a real low blow. So, but when I found this new psychiatrist, she really has it together. And I've been with her for about 6 years, and I said, you could never leave me. My daughter wrote to me on this last Mother's Day that you're the best mother ever. I love you. I couldn't do it without you. You're the best role model ever. And I think that's the best testament to my recovery in terms of being a parent. I got my girls into therapy early and into psychiatrists early. I mean, they were off. I put one in at 7 years old and the other in 13. So I got them the help that I had never had. And I feel good about that as a result. And they still have issues. And we all talk about meds and therapists and all that kind of stuff. And so it's a family affair. Mental health is a family affair for us. We all suffer from one diagnosis or another, but we all collectively do pretty well because we practice a lot of self-care. It never goes away. You know, I just had a downturn last week, and I thought I was in the clear, but it never goes away. I think that you just have to be aware of what's happening in your life. You got to watch for the little signals that say that you're going down, and then you got to take action. And you also need a lot of faith and hope. And that will help you get through. It won't be perfect, but it'll help. And then all the little 20 things that I do for myself every day. I am a huge advocate of physical exercise. The endorphins come up and they elevate your mood, and it also tamps down anxiety. And my daughters do the same thing. We all have ellipticals or treadmills. We all go out walking every day, do all those sorts of things. So we talk about our exercise regimen daily, and I think that is a tremendous help. Is there stigma? Yes. All of us don't necessarily reveal our disorders immediately. Usually we let people get to know us personally and to appreciate the real person that we are. And then later, after trust is built, we might allude to the diagnosis. But generally speaking, when I come out to people, after they've known me for a while, they're very accepting and very supportive because they know who the real Cindy is. I'm not defined by my diagnosis. Meditation, serenity and solace through immersion in nature, writing, journaling. I have a depression, anxiety, and grief support group that I'm very attached to. We've been together for 6 years. I'm one of 3 facilitators. And the good thing about that, and this is a recovery aspect, is that it takes you out of your own troubles and allows you to help others. When you give, you get back a whole lot more. So that's another little recovery thing that I do. I feel blessed every day that I am functioning. I am fully functioning, and I'm a valuable person to my family and to the community. So, you know, I couldn't ask it to be any better. I mean, you know, it's a funny thing. If I had not had mental illness, would I be this way? I'm not so sure I would. I might be much more selfish, egotistical. But mental illness has a way of just, you know, beating you down and letting you know that things are not always right. And you're going to have to struggle. You're just going to have to struggle. But you can make it.